Okay, so today's piece is Catalogue d'Oiseaux Book 3 by Olivier Messiaen. Book 3 is, like I mentioned on the last episode, it's in two parts. There's the Tawny Owl, which is the first half of the piece, and then the second half of the piece is the Woodlark. So we have like a night bird and then a day bird. This kind of is similar to, like the structure kind of reminds me of his 1951 or 53 piece, I can't remember, Reveille des Oiseaux, which was for piano and orchestra. It was his first birdsong piece. That piece also is like broken up into two halves that represent the night birds and the day birds. Like the birds are representing the time of day. And I believe both of these birds are in that piece. Actually, I can pull up the score. I've covered this on the channel before. Let's see. I know for sure the Woodlark is in this because it's a piccolo thing. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. So I think actually we get the Woodlark in both the day and night halves of the piece. Um, but you get it in the piccolo in this piece, and it's always in the piccolo and it never changes. So it's sort of like a marker. Here it's actually a different melody. So it's I think he gets into a little bit more detail with the song itself. Yeah, so I think there's some more observation here of what the woodlark actually sounds like. And then the where's the tawny owl here? It might even be near the beginning. Okay, I'm wrong actually. There's no tawny owl in Reveille, only the little owl, and that owl only appears in the night, obviously, and it's one of the first things you hear. Let's see here. Yeah, it's oh yeah, it's the one it's always the first violin solo. Here we have a completely different song. This one I think is starting with a long introduction. Yeah, but we do get the little owl in this as well. There's the little owl and then there's the tawny owl. I'm going to say a little bit about each bird and then we'll get into listening to this. The tawny owl is a also called the brown owl. Is commonly found in woodlands across Europe, as well as western Siberia. There are 7 recognized subspecies. It's a nocturnal bird of prey, which is sometimes hunted by larger owls, such as the eagle owl and the Eurasian goshawk. There's a gray morphology, which is more common further east in Europe. So Messiaen would have seen the brown one mostly. And I guess it's a fairly successful bird because it has a very big Wikipedia article. And then we have the woodlark. That's the only extant species of lark in the genus Lulala, or Lulula, and it's widely found across Europe, the Middle East, and Western Asia, and the mountains of North Africa. And it's a non-migratory bird in the west of its range, whereas eastern populations are more migratory. So that's what it looks like. Um, there's 2 subspecies, the northern and southern woodlark, and populations across Europe have been in decline, uh, with habitat loss being a major contributor. I don't think Messiaen really was reading Wikipedia articles on these birds, obviously, but he worked with a ornithologist when writing Reveille des Oiseaux, and he certainly did a lot of bird watching himself. I think what attracted him to the specific birds was their calls. He was mainly observing birds to transcribe their calls. So you might notice that the birds in today's uh, book are very like unassuming looking. They're both just kind of brown plumage, incredibly common birds. But I think I would assume their calls are very distinctive and interesting for Messiaen. Also, I'm pretty excited for this one because it's like uh, the two movements together are like 12 minutes, so they'll go by pretty quick because they're each like 6 minutes long, I'm assuming. So, yeah, I'll see you in 12 minutes. Okay, so I was completely wrong in my assumptions in the first half of this video. This is actually a pair of nocturnes. So the second movement is also at night. I think it's very clear. Like if you look right here, it just says the night, which is represented by this chord progression. Anyways, the pieces themselves, these are the best two so far, in my opinion. They're so good and enjoyable to listen to. The first one, the owl, is a little bit more long-winded, and it's like out of all the movements so far, it has the least bird song in it. But I think that's kind of interesting. Like Messiaen spends a lot of time sort of like trying to set up this setting of like a forest at night, which is what the bulk of this first movement is composed of, is this like sort of nebulous, dissonant, like just sort of like random note sounding stuff. And then the two owl calls themselves are not very long or developmental. They're sort of just like a couple calls. Um, but he makes you wait for it, and I think he kind of captures. I don't know if he captures like how terrifying it is to encounter these creatures, but certainly he gives a lot of time and space to get you in the same sort of like headspace as a bird watcher, right? So when you actually do hear the call, it's like you found something in the dark. And I found that to be very interesting. Maybe not satisfying to listen to, but still interesting just to it's refreshing compared to the previous four movements. And then the Woodlark movement was actually my favorite so far. It's really, really beautiful. He has these gorgeous chords that land on a like B flat major chord over and over again. And that's just a springboard for this really beautiful Woodlark song. And it sort of just goes back and forth like that for a long time. Um, and he kind of just lands on this idea, this musical idea that's so good you could just kind of listen to it forever. Um, there's also a nightingale appearance, which is really cool. Reveille des Oiseaux opens with a huge nightingale song. So it's obviously an important figure in this drama that Messiaen closely associates with the nighttime, right? And the nightingale, of course, has like one of the more elaborate calls to transcribe. So it sort of adds a nice contrast to the woodlark call, which is more sort of like restrained and limited in what it can do. And yeah, these two movements together, I like that they're both nocturnes, and I like that they're not too busy with shit, you know? Like the previous books that we looked at, you would have like 10, 12 different birds in the same movement, and it was a little bit difficult to follow. These are like dead simple to listen to, and I think uh, would be a good introduction to the whole project if you were to try to get students, for example, interested in Catalogue d'Oiseaux. Just show them these two, you know. Maybe we'll encounter some further along that are more accessible, but I kind of doubt it. These two are really, it's a good book, you know.